Hey, coaches, welcome back. Football Talk with Coach Chip. Always say, hey, coaches, but maybe say, hey, football fans. Some of y'all want to learn a little bit more about the grand game. Today, we're going to be looking at throwing backside RPOs off inside runs. Now, I'm going to show you diagrams, and I'll show you video clips, and we'll just talk about some of the coaching points of throwing it and what we teach the quarterback and what we teach the receivers, and of course the running back with the mesh and all that. Hey, before we get started, remember, go ahead. If you're not a subscriber, go down there below and click on subscribe. Okay. And while you're doing that, click the bell, and that way you'll be alerted anytime I put new content up. Also, share. Share. All right, sharing is caring, y'all. Tell everybody, I'll tell all your coaching friends, tell all your football fan friends, say, hey, this is pretty cool stuff right here. Go in there, he breaks it down, chops it up, and it's good stuff. You got some good content, and I'd sure do appreciate it. If you have any questions, hit me up. Okay, it'll be my email will be in the description at the bottom of the video. It's siegel.chip, SEAGLE.chip@gmail.com. Ask anybody that ever emails me. I do respond. And if I can help you in any way, I will do it. I just went back and found an old presentation from like 12 years ago and sent to a guy. It was a teaching presentation about the rocket. And I sent him the whole thing. Okay. And because he had been on the Coach Chip page and went back and found some of the rocket toss stuff that we did back in the first year that I was doing this video channel. And he said, hey, Coach, you got anything about install, stuff like that? Not a problem. Something else too now. Hey, if it's not too far off, I'll come and speak to your staff, install anything you see on here if I'm comfortable doing it, and I'll tell you if I'm not, and if I know somebody who is, I'll give you their information, and you can hit them up. But not too far away. I'm not in it to make a killing. Pretty much just pay for my gas, give me a place to stay, and a little bit of spending money. I went last summer and did an install with a guy running the power the power offense with the sniffer back. A lot of the stuff we've done over the years. He had a good quarterback. Taught him how we run the RPO, and they had a pretty good year doing it. Okay, made the playoffs and all that. I'll come to your place as long as I too. If you're on the other side of the country, you're going to have to spring for a plane ticket, but I will come. And I'm going to be speaking. This is, as we talk, it's December 9th of 2022. I've already got 3 engagements lined up, speaking at clinics, 2 in the Atlanta area and 1 down in the middle Georgia area on the other side of Macon from me. And if you're within driving distance of that and you want to meet up, hit me up at siegel.chip@gmail.com. Hey, let's look at some diagrams of throwing backside RPOs off inside runs. All right, now these are going to be off the inside zone. Don't let that bother you. If you're not a zone team, even if you're a gap scheme team out of gun, if you've got receivers on the backside of an inside run, you can have this guy in here tight, this guy in here. You could run it off power look, power right, like bring him back here to the sniffer, bring him in here to tight end. You're a power team. As he's crossing face, you can run this. All right, here's what we do. This is the read. So we're not going to block him. Most teams, when you run zone, you're going to climb right here. He's got that backside wheel backer, right? Well, we're going to drive him. We're going to lock on him right here. We're going to double right here. And the way we teach it, you said, well, how do you not get guys downfield? Well, to be honest with you, we do. And you'll see that probably on some of the video clips, but it's okay. All right. It's kind of like holding. You got to get caught. But what we do, we teach them to really stay on those double teams all the time. Block lineman first, block lineman first, block lineman first. And even before, like this past year, we were a pretty good zone blocking team, and that made it good. But I've run it off gap scheme. I've run it off trap. I'm going 2 by 2, and we run trap, and you're getting the same thing. Okay, you're not blocking. And what we tell the quarterback is we're not going to block the first linebacker backside. So if they're in a 3-3 stack, it'll be the stack backer because the mic is stacked over the center, right? So that'd be his read. We're not going to block him. That's your guy. You're responsible for him, quarterback. And what we tell him, if he triggers, disconnect and throw. If he triggers, disconnect and throw. And I've got several RPO videos on here. I'm not going to go into deep detail of the teaching of it. I just want to show you some recent video clips of us doing it. Now, this year, what we did, again, we had a very young team. We were very successful, 8 wins with a very young team, freshman quarterback, and we were slow installing it, let him get a feel for it, let him get a feel for the quick game. And he's very sharp kid, very sharp kid. And he got the hang of it. And so we started doing it. It was nothing more than me standing over here being his read, and him we started out with him just calling it. Give, pass, give, pass, give, pass. And I would stand over there sometimes and just have him taking air reps to the two quarterbacks snapping to each other, just flipping to each other, and I'm holding up fingers, not trying to trick them, 1 finger or 2 fingers. What I'm doing, I'm training their eyes to key right here, okay? And once you get their eyes trained to key right here, then you start putting the running back in there and you're meshing it up. And it's the same mesh you run if you're running the zone read, when you're blocking this guy right here and he's climbing to the linebacker and you're reading the DN to keep it and run right here, quarterback, or to give it and run it right here with the tailback. It's the same mesh, that 90% of the country runs. And I used to, and you go back and look at some of the old RPO videos I've made, it was a pure slant. But I started teaching them to gear down and sit down right here. And it's amazing how much better we got at catching the football right in here with them sitting down. And this right here, we didn't want him to be behind this, to be behind number 2 on the slant sit. And so we'd have him go out and then come right back in right here. And very rarely did we throw that. When we threw it, this guy was open. The first time we ran it, about game 5, the quarterback, he ate the football. To be expected. It's the first time we ever ran it with live bullets, if you will. And you can see on my diagram, I got a pre-snap right here. Now, what we did this year, when I called it, both sides ran it, and all it meant was this. So we're running 2 slants over here, in essence, is what we're doing. So I said, when we call this, you're running 2 slants too, because I didn't want to confuse them. And I told the quarterback, if you like it, you can just quick game it and throw your 2 slants over here. Now, what we're going to graduate to is we're going to have the backside running some form, we'll eventually get it where we can call it, where this guy run a vertical and just clear out, and this guy will be who he throws it to if he reads the wheel. Because who's the one that can really steal your joy on a slant? Those inside backers undercutting, right? And that's what the flash fake or the RPO does. The faking of the football takes away that guy. So if you can win this route, and that's what it comes down to. And, we got against one team that we couldn't win the route. And we were beating them with RPOs, and they changed up and went man, and their dudes were better than our dudes, and that's going to happen. Okay? Now, if you come to this channel looking for something, say, what do you got for me that if they got better dudes than me? Not much. Okay? There's DNA's undefeated, y'all. Genes are undefeated. If their dudes are just better, sometimes that's what's going to happen. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster, whatever. But on a level playing field, or even if the defense is slightly better, these RPOs are going to equal out. All right, I'm not going to insult your intelligence and put it on the other side. But if you want a diagram of it, you can hit me up at siegel.chip@gmail.com. And the only thing I charge is you got to share my channel and tell all your friends about it. All right, let's look at some video. Well, now this first clip is not the diagram. This is an example of how you can attach the quick game. And what we did, and I know this is a gift. This isn't a true RPO, but just so you can see it, we called a fade and an out. And when the quarterback decided pre-snap, he looks over at his running back and he just says, hey, this is going to be me. He said, I like the action over here. And so what he's going to do, he's going to check out his fade. If it's there, take it. If it's not, see where the outside backer is. He's going to take the out. And watch the linemen, they're going to zone block, see? And I'm going to tell you, in high school football, If you stay engaged with your block that's initiated on the line, you can get away with it. The only thing we did wrong there, we got away with it. We didn't get a lock call on that backside right tackle, and that could have been called on us, but it wasn't. See, look at the right here, look downfield a little bit. He needs to lock up on that if he's going to do this. Okay, and that's a coaching issue. We took care of that. Okay. This is true RPO. Boom, right there. He didn't like it. He came off and he hit that guy late on the slant. And that's the coaching point. As soon, because you're watching this guy, this linebacker here. So if he tells you it's pass and you pull it and then somebody's in there, you got to come off, boom, right there. Okay. You got to be quicker than that. So you don't have men downfield. And we did, but it didn't get called. And you can see they're engaged in blocks, and you're going to get away with that if you're engaged with D linemen. 99 times out of 100, okay, you're going to get away with that. But that's that same RPO that I just showed you on the diagram. He just came off of this guy showed him, and really he probably should have gave it because the guy was kind of flat-footed, but what are you going to do? Okay. I think that one just got in there. Okay, should be at the top of the screen. There they are. Boom. See, they're not all passes. Okay, the first letter in RPO is R for run. See, I think he made up his mind before when he saw they were locked up. Okay, here's another one. So the back's on the right, so the RPO will be on the right because it's a backside RPO. Okay. He threw that, I mean, in a hole. So the read should be this cat. So he steps up, throw it. Okay, he stepped up for the run, throw it. Same play blown up. Okay, back's on the left, so the RPO is on the left, right here. Because it's backside RPO. Boop, there you go right there. Look, and he is sat down. If you have him running, it takes a lot of guts to come across that middle running. Okay, so what we did was last year I started toying with the idea of doing it. And just sit his butt down. Okay, sit his butt down. And if you can't fight City Hall, you're not going to, you know, make it easy for the kids. Now, the number one over there at the top, the outside receiver, did not release out, and he would not have been there as an outlet for the quarterback had he not been able to throw to the inside receiver. He's got to release, even if he got to cheat in some, and then release out, and then be on a different plane than number two. Same play. All right, now see, he is going to, this is the first time we ran it. You got to throw it, or this is going to happen. Okay, if it's not there, you just throw it over their heads. Okay, because when you're running it on a running down. Usually it's like a first, second down, and run down, first and 10, second and 5. It's a rundown play because remember, the R stands for run. It's not a pass. That's why you got it mentality wise. And if in doubt, you've heard me say this before, if you're a long time subscriber, if in doubt, give to live. If in doubt, give to live. Okay, so he decides he's going to throw it and then he eats it. You got to hum that thing in there. And of course, you saw him humming it in there on the previous video. This is early on in the RPO experiment. Linebacker triggered, boom, throw it right there to number 3. Okay, he's the slot guy coming right here, boom, sitting down, catch, disconnect. This guy's come flying down, he's going to hit him. See, if you're not, after you pulled it, you got to haul butt with it or just throw the daggum thing away. Just hum it over everybody's head right there. Okay? All right. That's it for this edition on running the RPO on inside runs. I was going to say inside zone. You can do it on a lot of things. You can throw these same RPOs on the backside of buck. It means you don't have to account for that backside inside linebacker. You can do it on, if you want to go 2 by 2, but you're not a zone team, you can do it off trap. Now, I do not recommend it on counter, especially GT counter. The reason why is now your your DN's a free runner, okay? And he's not reading the DN on the RPO. He's reading the first linebacker backside. The first linebacker backside of the football, when you teach it, you draw a line down the middle, you draw up a formation, draw a line down the middle of the formation and say, okay, we're running the ball to the right, RPOs to the left. Who are you reading? And he says, that guy. I said, that's correct. The first one backside. So, and that's how you do it. If you're running against a 4-3 team, they got a true mic, then you reading the wheel or the sound, whichever one it is. Okay? All right. Remember, subscribe. Okay? Share. Hit me up at siegel.chip@gmail.com. And until next time, be elite.